You felt that whisper before, the quiet tug in your chest, the sense that something was guiding you long before logic had time to speak. Maybe you called it a feeling. Maybe you dismissed it as imagination. Yet deep down, a part of you knows it wasn't random. It was intelligence, subtle, precise, and ancient. The truth is, intuition isn't mystical guesswork. It's communication. It's the energetic language between your conscious mind, your body, and the field of possibility that surrounds you. Science calls it coherence, that perfect synchronization between heart, brain, and nervous system when you're fully present. Spirit calls it remembering, but somewhere along the way, you were taught to doubt it, to overanalyze, to calculate, to trade the soft voice of knowing for the noise of logic. You were told that evidence lives outside you, that certainty must be proven, not felt. And so, piece by piece, you drifted from your internal compass, infusing stillness for weakness and intuition for irrationality. What if the opposite is true? What if intuition is the most advanced form of intelligence you possess, one that can perceive outcomes before your mind can reason them? The quantum field doesn't respond to words. It responds to energy. Every time your heart senses resonance or resistance, it's reading frequencies beyond what the eyes can see. You are, and always have been, a receiver of invisible information. This isn't about superstition. It's about energetic science, the physics of feeling, the biology of belief, the quantum mechanics of inner truth. And the moment you stop forcing answers and start listening again, something shifts. The static quiets. The body exhales. The knowing returns. You are not broken. You are not disconnected. You are simply remembering how to tune in. This is the reawakening of your natural intelligence, the one that moves through intuition, sensation, and subtle signal. As you listen to these words, allow yourself to soften. Feel your breath slow. Feel your awareness drop from mind to body. There was a time when you didn't question your knowing. As a child, you moved through the world guided by something invisible, instinct, curiosity, a pull toward what felt alive. You could sense when someone's smile wasn't real, when a room felt heavy, when a choice was right before it made any sense. That was intuition. Pure and unfiltered, the body's language before the mind learned to interfere, but slowly. The world began to teach you that logic was safer than feeling. You were praised for analysis, not awareness. Rewarded for certainty, not sensitivity. You learned that intuition didn't make sense, and in a world obsessed with proof, that meant it couldn't be trusted. Every time you followed a hunch and got burned, or spoke a truth that others couldn't hear, a subtle contract formed inside you, a quiet agreement that said, it's safer not to know. This is how intuitive amnesia begins, not through forgetting, but through survival. The nervous system learns that tuning out your deeper senses protects you from rejection, confusion, or pain. You begin to filter your reality through logic, believing that rational control equals safety. But beneath the control, something sacred starts to dim. You can feel it, can't you? That faint hum under the noise of thought. The ache that says there's more you could hear if only you could silence the storm inside. That storm is what I call inner noise. It's the static of ego, trauma, and overthinking the brain's attempt to predict the future so it doesn't have to feel uncertainty. The irony. That noise blocks the very signal you're searching for. The quantum field speaks in whispers, not shouts. It speaks through resonance, the subtle feeling that something clicks, even if you can't explain why. But when the mind is flooded with fear, comparison, and doubt, your receiver jams. The intuitive signal weakens, not because it's gone, but because the frequency of your attention has shifted. You can't hear truth in a room filled with static. Here's the reversal. Your logic isn't the enemy. It's just been overworked. Logic is the translator, not the source. When it's balanced with intuition, it becomes wisdom. But when it's used to suppress the unknown, it becomes defense. Every I don't know what to do moment is not confusion. It's a call to recalibrate your signal. To remember how to feel again. The modern world told you intuition was irrational because it couldn't be quantified. But in the quantum realm, observation itself creates reality. The data is clear. The observer shapes the outcome. So your intuition, your felt sense, is not a superstition. It's participation. You are co-creating with a living, responsive universe every time you listen to your inner guidance. So breathe. Let that truth land softly. There is nothing wrong with you for losing touch. It was never your fault. You were simply adapting to a world that forgot how to listen. And now, your body is ready to remember. Because the wisdom that once felt dangerous is the same wisdom that will set you free at the deepest level of existence. Everything is vibration. Every atom, every emotion, every thought carries a frequency, a pattern of energy that hums its truth into the field. You've heard this before, perhaps as a spiritual idea, but science has been whispering it too. Quantum physics tells us there is no true separation between things. What looks solid is a mirage of motion particles, dancing in and out of existence within an invisible ocean of potential. That ocean is what mystics call the field. It is the unified fabric connecting consciousness, matter, and possibility. In this field, nothing is truly still. Every experience you've ever had, every desire, every memory, they all emit signals. Your body, right now, is broadcasting a complex frequency that interacts with the quantum environment around you. And this is where intuition lives. It's not a sixth sense. It's the first. The original language your body spoke before words existed, a sensitivity to resonance. Think of yourself as an antenna. When your system is noisy, ungrounded, or fragmented, your signal distorts. You pick up static. But when your mind, heart, and nervous system are coherent, they form a unified tuning fork, capable of detecting subtle, energetic information. You begin to hear the whispers of reality before they manifest as form. You sense what paths align, what relationships are right, what timing is true, not because you can logically deduce them, but because your entire field resonates with the frequency of that truth. Coherence is the science behind that magic. When your heart rhythm is smooth and your brain waves are synchronized, your electromagnetic field expands. Studies have shown that the heart's magnetic signal is measurable several feet beyond the body. It acts like a broadcasting beacon, constantly exchanging data with the world around you. This is intuition, as physics, the biology of connection. When the heart and brain communicate in harmony, a new intelligence awakens, not the frantic logic of survival, but the calm clarity of alignment. In that state, your nervous system no longer scans for threat. It begins to listen. You perceive subtle cues, a tone in someone's voice, sudden lightness in the air, pull toward a certain choice, and you realize you are participating in a constant feedback loop with the field itself. Every feeling is data. Every intuition is information. You are not imagining. You are interpreting, the ancient mystics said, as within, so without. Quantum physics mirrors this truth with astonishing precision. The observer effect proves that particles respond to observation, that consciousness influences matter. The universe does not unfold independently of you. It responds to the frequency you hold. When you align your inner state with coherence, when your thoughts, emotions, and physiology vibrate in harmony, you shift your probability field. You tune to realities that match your vibration. Imagine a radio dial. Each station is a different version of reality, broadcasting on its own frequency. Most people are stuck spinning the knob, caught between stations full of static, confusion, and mixed signals. Intuition is what happens when you stop spinning and find the clear frequency that matches your soul's signature. From that place, life stops being random. Synchronicities increase. Decisions feel guided. You sense what's next without needing to force it. This is not supernatural. It's supernatural. It is what happens when consciousness and biology cooperate instead of compete. Your heart acts as a quantum bridge, translating invisible energy into felt experience. Your intuition, then, is the sensory organ of the soul, reading the code of the cosmos through the medium of your own coherence. So the next time you feel that pull, that sudden inner yes or quiet no, remember, it's not fantasy. It's feedback. Your field is communicating with the greater field, exchanging data faster than thought can translate. The more coherent you become, the clearer that dialogue grows. And in that stillness, awe returns. Because you realize you were never disconnected from the universe at all. You are the universe. Listening to itself through the instrument of your being, your body has always known before your mind could understand. Long before thought became language, before logic constructed its walls, there was sensation, the most ancient voice of consciousness. The body doesn't lie because it doesn't analyze. It only translates vibration into feeling. Every flutter, every chill, every wave of peace or tightness is a form of communication between your energy field and the field of life itself. You are not just in a body. You are a body of light wrapped in matter. And this body is the antenna through which intuition speaks. When aligned, your nervous system becomes a finely tuned receiver, capable of reading energetic information in the same way a radio captures sound waves. Your intuition is not imagination. It's sensory intelligence. It's your cells whispering, this is right. This isn't safe. This direction aligns. Notice how your body speaks in subtle languages. Expansion, a feeling of warmth in the chest, a deep breath, a softening in the belly, this is the signal of truth. The body relaxes in the presence of resonance. Contraction, a shallow breath, tight shoulders, a racing heart. This is the body's way of saying something is off. It's not punishment or paranoia. It's protection. Your intuition and your nervous system are partners, constantly decoding the field, scanning for coherence or disruption. But here is where confusion often arises. Many people mistake anxiety for intuition because both can create intensity. The difference lies in their texture. Fear constricts. Intuition expands. Anxiety speaks in noise, urgency, and what-ifs. Intuition speaks in stillness, clarity, and quiet knowing. One pulls you into reaction. The other guides you into presence. Imagine your body as an instrument, like a violin. When the strings are tense or neglected, every note is sharp or muted. But when the instrument is tuned, it resonates effortlessly. The smallest touch creates music. Your intuition works the same way. When your nervous system is dysregulated, flooded with stress hormones, your intuitive clarity becomes distorted. But when your body is grounded and coherent, your signals are pure. You begin to hear life again. Science echoes this truth. The vagus nerve, your body's great communicator, connects brain, heart, lungs, and gut in one intricate network. It's the bridge between your emotions and your physiology. When activated through calm breathing, gentle movement, or genuine connection, the vagus nerve signals safety to your system. It lowers heart rate, balances digestion, and brings your energy into harmony. This is what makes intuition clearer. Not more thinking, but more safety. The heart plays its own profound role. It produces the strongest electromagnetic field in the body, one that extends far beyond your skin. When your emotions are coherent, gratitude, love, openness, this field stabilizes, creating a measurable state of order. The brain and heart begin to synchronize in rhythm, forming what researchers call heart-brain coherence. In that state, your perception sharpens. You can sense patterns, opportunities, and connections that logic alone would miss. Intuition, then, isn't something mystical reserved for the few. It's the natural intelligence of a regulated system. It's the body's way of reading data from the quantum field through sensation. Your heart picks up information before your intellect can process it. Studies have shown the body reacts to stimuli milliseconds before they occur. The body knows. It always knows. Pause for a moment. Notice how your body feels right now. Is there a tightness in your chest? A heaviness in your stomach? A lightness somewhere you didn't expect? Don't analyze it. Just notice. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Exhale softly through your mouth. As you do, imagine your heart and brain sinking into one rhythm. The pulse of awareness itself. Feel the edges of your body blur slightly, as if you are both here and everywhere at once. This is coherence beginning to form. This is you tuning in. Every signal your body sends is part of an ongoing conversation with the field. When you ignore your sensations, you interrupt the dialogue. When you honor them, you amplify the signal. Over time, your body becomes fluent in its own energetic language guiding you, not through logic but through resonance. This is why intuition feels like remembering, because deep down your cells already understand the truth. They've been absorbing information from the universe since the moment you were conceived. Each beat of your heart, each breath, an echo of cosmic rhythm. So the next time you feel chills move down your spine or warmth bloom across your chest, pause. Don't rush to explain. Don't dismiss it as random. These are your antennas, your body's sacred technology, translating quantum information into physical feeling. The mind demands proof. The body delivers presence. And in that presence, intuition becomes undeniable, not because you believe, but because you feel. If intuition feels mystical, that's only because science hasn't yet found language poetic enough to describe it. What we call a gut feeling is not a random flash. It's the result of two profound forces meeting, the subconscious processing vast amounts of unseen data, and the quantum field reflecting the probabilities we're attuned to notice. Let's start with the mind. Neuroscience shows that while your conscious brain can process about 40 bits of information per second, your subconscious handles over 11 million. That means your intuition is the intelligence operating beneath your thinking, constantly scanning patterns, motions, microexpressions, and environmental cues you'll never consciously perceive. When you get that feeling of, I just know, it's not irrational. It's precognitive pattern recognition. Your biology has already read the field before your intellect has caught up. But this isn't only biology, it's also entanglement. In quantum mechanics, particles once connected remain linked, no matter the distance. When you focus on something, a goal, a person, a possibility, your attention creates a subtle, energetic thread. Information travels across that thread instantaneously, not through time or space, but through resonance. This is the hidden architecture of intuition. You are entangled with what you love, what you fear, what you're meant to become. The knowing arrives not as a thought, but as a vibration, a felt sense of recognition that precedes logic. There's a space physicist called the zero-point field, the vast ocean of fluctuating energy that underlies everything. Every atom, every thought, every emotion ripples through that ocean. When you are still enough, coherent enough, you can read its waves. Intuition is simply your consciousness surfing the quantum sea, feeling information before it condenses into form. Think of a scientist who just knew the answer before the experiment proved it, or an artist who painted an image that later mirrored a real event, or a healer who felt a diagnosis in their own body moments before the scans revealed it. These are not miracles. They are glimpses of coherence between the personal mind and the universal field. The logical mind catches up later, but the knowing always arrives first. Your intuition, then, is not guessing. It's guidance. The subconscious decodes patterns from the quantum field and translates them into sensations, symbols, or quiet certainty. It speaks the language of resonance. And like tuning a radio, what you hear depends on your frequency. Fear distorts the signal. Trust refines it. Pause for a moment and feel this truth settle. The answers you seek are not out there. They're already stored within your field, waiting for your nervous system to calm enough to receive them. When your heart, brain, and body enter coherence, your perception expands. You begin to notice synchronicities, sudden insights, perfect timing. What once seemed like chance becomes evidence of attunement. The bridge between logic and mysticism isn't as wide as you've been told. Science is beginning to map what sages have always lived, that consciousness doesn't observe reality. It participates in it. Every intuitive nudge is your higher intelligence whispering through the static of thought, reminding you that you're part of something vast, ordered, and kind. So, when you next just know, don't rush to dismiss it. It's not imagination, it's information. It's the field speaking in the oldest language you've ever known, the quiet certainty of your own. Awareness trust is not a thought, it's a frequency. It's the invisible rhythm your entire body hums when it's aligned with something true. But most people try to reach intuition through the mind, through control, through questions that tighten instead of open. The paradox is that intuition doesn't speak the language of control. It only speaks the language of coherence and surrender. Imagine your intuition as a whisper echoing across a still lake. The quieter the water, the clearer the reflection. But the moment you begin to thrash, trying to force clarity, to demand a sign, to overthink, the water ripples, and the whisper is lost in distortion. The mind shouts, the intuition whispers. And if you want to hear it, you must learn the art of stillness. This is why trust feels so difficult. It asks you to relax into uncertainty, to release the need for proof before you act. The ego calls that weakness, but energetically, it's power, because trust is not passive. It's an active vibration that tells the quantum field, I already believe before I see. It's coherence in motion, heart, body, and mind sinking into faith before evidence arrives. Ask yourself, where in your life did ignoring your gut lead to struggle? Maybe it was a relationship that looked perfect on paper but never felt right in your bones. Maybe it was a job that promised security while your body whispered no. Think back, the signs were there. A subtle tension, a heaviness, a quiet sense of resistance. That was your intuition, gently trying to protect you. But logic overruled it, as it's been trained to do. The lesson is never punishment, it's realignment. Every time you distrust your inner knowing, life reflects the imbalance back to you. Not to shame you, but to remind you that intuition is a muscle of surrender, not control. You don't strengthen it by grasping. You strengthen it by softening quantum. Coherent studies show that when your heart and brain are in harmony, your entire nervous system emits a smooth, consistent frequency, the biological signature of trust. In that state, your body becomes an open receiver, capable of perceiving subtle, energetic information. It's not mystical, it's mechanical. Trust literally tunes your antenna. So what does it mean to live from that frequency? It means allowing life to unfold without gripping. It means choosing to believe that what's meant for you will recognize you when you're coherent enough to receive it. It means replacing the question, what if I'm wrong, with what if it's already working? This is the moment your reality begins to shift, not because you forced it, but because you stopped resisting it. Trust doesn't guarantee a perfect path. It creates a fluid one. It lets the field rearrange in your favor without your interference. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the subtle pulse beneath your sternum, your heart's quiet metronome. Let your breath slow down until you can feel that rhythm syncing with the space around you. That is coherence. That is trust in its rawest form. The silence between thoughts. The pause before the next inhale. You don't have to chase intuition. You only have to return to this state again and again, because the whisper never stopped speaking. You just needed to remember the stillness it requires to be heard. Trust isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to stay open even when fear visits. It's the vibration that says, I am guided. Even here, and when that becomes your frequency, life begins to answer in kind, softly, precisely, unmistakably. The first step to hearing your intuition again is not learning, it's remembering. The wisdom has always been there, humming quietly beneath the surface of your thoughts, waiting for a moment of stillness to slip through. But in a world addicted to noise, stillness feels radical. So, this part of your journey is about creating the conditions where your inner voice can be heard again, not as an idea, but as a sensation. Start with silence. Not the uncomfortable kind that feels like absence, but the kind that feels like presence. Silence is a doorway. When you turn down the volume of your external world, the scrolling, the analyzing, the constant need to figure it out, the subtle frequencies of your intuition begin to rise. 5 minutes of quiet each morning is enough to start recalibrating your inner receiver. Don't wait for perfect peace. Just begin with intentional pause. Next comes breath. Breath is the bridge between the seen and the unseen, between the mind and the body. The moment you deepen your breath, your nervous system begins to regulate. Your brain waves slow, and coherence begins to form. Try this. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 2, and exhale slowly for 6. With each exhale, feel yourself emptying the noise, not deleting it, but letting it drift. Breath is the body's way of saying, I'm safe enough to listen again now. Place your hand on your heart right here, right now. Close your eyes for a moment. Ask your body a simple question. Show me what yes feels like. Wait, don't rush for words. Just notice. Maybe your chest expands slightly, or your breath deepens. Maybe there's warmth, a sense of opening, a quiet relief. That's the vibration of alignment now. Ask, show me what no feels like. You might feel contraction, shallowness, a subtle tension. Not as fear, but as guidance. Your body has always been fluent in truth. You just forgot the dialect. Once you begin to feel these differences, practice with small things. What to eat, where to go, what to say yes or no to. Don't overanalyze. Intuition strengthens through experimentation, not perfection. The more you practice, the clearer the sensations become. You start to realize your body is not random. It's a living compass. Journaling is another form of listening. Not the kind of journaling where you try to be profound, the kind where you simply let words spill, unedited, unfiltered. Ask questions like, what part of me is trying to speak today? What does my intuition want me to know about this decision? Then, write whatever comes, even if it feels illogical. Often the first few sentences come from the mind, but the truth follows after. The key here is not to force accuracy. It's to build relationship. Intuition isn't a skill you master, it's a friend you rebuild trust with. It's relational, not mechanical. The more consistently you make space for it, the safer it feels to speak. You might notice that the clearer you become, the quieter the world around you feels. Old noise loses its pull. The constant need for validation fades. You start to recognize that intuitive living isn't about predicting the future. It's about deepening your presence. When you're fully here, the next step reveals itself effortlessly. And yes, there will be times you'll doubt it. You'll second guess, overthink, fall back into the comfort of logic. That's okay. Intuition doesn't demand perfection, only presence. Every moment you pause to breathe, every time you ask your body what it knows, you're strengthening the neural and energetic pathways that connect you to the field. This is relearning to listen, not as an occasional ritual, but as a way of moving through the world. To breathe before deciding, to feel before speaking, to sense before acting. Because when you listen like this with your whole being, life stops being a puzzle to solve and becomes a conversation to join. And the more you listen, the clearer it gets. Not louder, clearer, because intuition never needed to shout. It only needed your willingness to be quiet enough to hear. Every choice you make carries a frequency. Some ripple out in static, full of resistance, anxiety, and second-guessing. Others hum with quiet certainty, as if the universe itself exhales in agreement. The difference isn't luck, it's alignment. Aligned choices don't push you forward, they pull you effortlessly toward what's meant for you. We've been conditioned to believe that right choices come from analysis, from lists, pros and cons, or external approval. But the truth is subtler. Real alignment feels like peace, not pressure. It's not the loud excitement of adrenaline. It's the steady calm that says, this is right, even if I can't explain why. That's the frequency of intuition.com, yet charged with unmistakable energy. Think back to a time you made a decision that didn't make logical sense, but somehow just felt correct. Maybe you turned down an opportunity everyone else said was perfect, or moved to a new city without knowing why. Then, months later, you realized that choice had opened doors logic could never have planned. That's not coincidence, it's coherence. When your inner frequency aligns with a path, reality begins to respond in kind. Here's a story. A scientist once shared that during a research project, she had a persistent sense that something was off with the data. There was no clear evidence. Everything appeared correct on paper, but her gut wouldn't let it go. Instead of ignoring it, she reran the experiment. Hidden in the results was a small calibration error that completely changed the outcome and led to a breakthrough discovery. When asked how she knew, she simply said, "It just didn't feel clean." That's what intuition sounds like in the language of science: resonance versus dissonance. Aligned choices feel clean, fear-based choices, even when logical, feel noisy like static in your chest. One contracts, the other expands. Intuition will never rush you. It invites you. Its signal is subtle but stable. Fear screams. Intuition hums. The moment you begin to choose from that quiet hum, life begins to rearrange. People appear at the right moment. Doors open without force. Timing becomes effortless. Not because magic suddenly appeared, but because you finally matched the vibration of flow. You've stopped resisting what was already meant for you. Imagine. Your life is a field of frequencies, each possibility vibrating at a unique tone. When you make choices from fear, you tune to distortion. When you choose from inner coherence, from that grounded knowing, your signal sharpens and reality begins to harmonize with it. Synchronicities aren't accidents. They're confirmations. The universe is simply mirroring the clarity you emit. To practice this, slow down before major decisions. Instead of rushing into mental logic, pause, breathe, ask, does this choice feel like expansion or contraction? Notice your body, not your thoughts. True alignment feels calm but powerful, like standing in a quiet current that knows exactly where to take you. There's liberation in realizing you no longer need to force outcomes. Force is a symptom of disconnection, the belief that you must control what you can actually co-create. But intuition doesn't need force. It moves through flow. The more you surrender into that flow, the more life aligns to support you. Life rearranges when you stop forcing and start listening. This isn't metaphor, it's energetic law. When you honor resonance, you collapse resistance. When you choose from inner truth, you become magnetically available to paths that were invisible before. And in that frequency of choice, power takes on a new meaning. It's not domination or certainty, it's harmony. It's standing in your truth so fully that everything not meant for you naturally falls away. So, ask yourself now, where in my life am I still forcing? What would happen if I trusted the pull instead of obeying the push? Because in the quantum field of infinite possibilities, the reality that aligns with your highest truth is already vibrating. It's waiting for you to match its frequency through choice. For so long, we've been taught to see the mind as the enemy of intuition, the overthinker, the skeptic, the saboteur. But the truth is, the mind was never meant to lead alone, nor to be silenced entirely. It was designed to serve, not to rule. When it becomes harmonized with intuition, it transforms from a restless critic into a loyal architect, translating invisible wisdom into tangible creation. The mind is brilliant. It organizes chaos, structures dreams, gives words to wonder. It's not your mind that blocks intuition. It's the unregulated mind. The one ruled by fear loops, cortisol surges, and the illusion of control. When your nervous system is in fight or flight, your mind scans for threats, not truth. It becomes a radar of survival, unable to hear the quiet hum of your deeper knowing. But when you regulate your inner state through breath, presence, coherence, the noise softens, the static clears, and the mind can finally listen instead of react. In that stillness, intellect becomes a translator for intuition's subtle signals. It's no longer about thinking instead of feeling, it's about thinking with feeling. Imagine intuition as the compass silent. It's unwavering, magnetically aligned with true north. And imagine your mind as the cartographer, sketching the map based on where intuition points. Without the compass, the map is meaningless. Without the map, the compass has no form to express itself through. Together, they create navigation, grounded mysticism, embodied wisdom. When the mind and intuition unite, clarity deepens. The inner dialogue shifts from, "Can I trust this?" to, "How can I bring this vision to life?" The intellect no longer questions intuition's message. It asks how to design its manifestation. This is the redemption of the mind. To move from control to collaboration. You can feel this harmony when your decisions stop feeling like battles. The mind doesn't argue. It supports. The body doesn't tense. It listens. There's a rhythm between inspiration and execution. Inhale and exhale. Intuition provides the direction. Intellect builds the bridge. And here's the beauty. The more regulated your nervous system becomes, the easier this partnership feels. A calm body tells the mind, we are safe. Safety invites openness. Openness allows listening. And from that listening, wisdom flows through without distortion. It's never been about killing the ego or silencing the mind. Those approaches only deepen separation. Integration is the true evolution when the mind bows to intuition, not in defeat, but in reverence. It realizes it doesn't need to know everything. It only needs to trust what knows. Your mind is not your obstacle. It's your instrument. And when tuned to coherence, it plays in perfect harmony with your intuition, logic, and mystery dancing to the same eternal rhythm. That's the redemption. Not to escape thought, but to think from stillness. Not to fight the mind, but to free it.